Hello everyone, this is CJNovo992 and today we are back with another brand new video. That's right people, we are finally back in action. What, after 4/5 days since me and you got to sit and talk to each other? It's been far too long, ladies and gentlemen. What has been a truly horrendous week, not only from a personal soul destroying, life crumbling point of view, but also from the old Rangers side as well, because you look at it, ladies and gentlemen, there has been nothing but BS rumour after BS rumour and BS exclusive for people and bitter hacks from these rag papers that have no information, no contacts. They can't get near the building, but they just fire out crap to keep themselves in a job. But thankfully we can move away from all that nonsense and all the BS and stick to the facts. And the facts is they're a game upon the horizon. And considering what happened last week, this game right here is now vital. And you know what, as it has been so long since our last video, a wee friendly reminder, ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed the channel, please consider helping the old channel out as we try to march towards 56k. But with the intro and the YouTube things out the way, let's get on with the old video then, shall we? And as always, we'll start off with the old oppositional preview by having a look at the Armenian champions, Alashkert. Sorry if I mispronounced that. And the old Armenians champions comes into this game versus Rangers on a run that can only be described one way and one way only. Bogging, ladies and gentlemen, absolutely bogging. They sit 9th in the Armenian League, 0 points from their opening 2 games, which is very, very unlike them. And their European run so far as well has been nothing but hit or miss. I mean, you remember that team, Sheriff? Well, they were playing the team that we face tomorrow in the first stage of the Champions League qualifiers, and I know we fell at the first hurdle, but so did Alashkert as they got beat 4-1 over the 2 legs by Sheriff, ladies and gentlemen. And after knocking out from the Champions League qualifiers, got in to Europa League level, they faced Connell's Quay, the team from Wales that you may or may not have heard of over the last couple of seasons because who they played in Scottish football. Well, it took a goal in the 112th minute over the 2 legs versus the team from Wales to progress into the next round. And into the next round it was very, very similar, as we're able to sneak through yet again thanks to a goal scored in the 105th minute versus a team from Kazakhstan. I know, it's quite a fall from grace from the teams we built up in our mind who we wanted to be facing in European competitions in terms of Champions League, etc, etc, but you can only ever beat what's in front of you. What stands in front of us is a team that cannot get out of their own way and who cannot stop conceding goals. I mean, they've played 8 games so far in all competitions this season. They've conceded 13 goals and only scored 7, which that right there sums this team up, in my opinion. But, and there is a but, ladies and gentlemen, in terms of the old oppositional preview, because so far in every game Alashkert's actually went in and played in, they've usually been favourites or they've had a very good chance of actually winning and beating the teams and progressing, etc. So they've played a certain way which is very, very attacking. It's kind of a 4-4-1 or a 4-4-2 sometimes, the way that they set up and operate, but it's very advanced, it's very attacking, and they leave themselves very vulnerable at the back considering the amount of goals that they're conceding and the silly goals that they're conceding. But this is the first time so far that this season that they've come up against a team that they aren't favourites to beat. In fact, they're very heavy favourites to get absolutely hammered. They are the complete underdogs in this game, and I think that right there will drastically change how they operate, set up, and how they go about their business, because they won't be as open, they won't be flooding people forward like they have been in the previous rounds and the previous games I've had to sit through for today's video. They certainly won't be doing that against Rangers at Ibrox. I'm thinking they're going to go upstairs, go into their bedroom, stick on their Kilmarnock pyjamas and try to park the bus and keep it tight going in to the second leg, which is obviously next week. Which, no matter the opposition or no matter what level that you are currently playing at, that always has its own set of challenges and it's always a bit of a tough nut to crack. Originally, I mean, we play in Scottish football, we've seen it many, many times over the years in games we should be going out there and winning comfortably, etc, but we can't find that bit of magic, or we can't get that first goal, and that drastically changes the entire game, and that'll be something that they'll be looking at and trying to replicate coming into this game versus Rangers. But honestly, I can't see by us making this a very, very comfortable win. I feel like when we do get that first goal tomorrow at Ibrox, I think the floodgates could genuinely open. And listen, I'm not sitting here being disrespectful or dismissive towards a team, not at all, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just being honest with what I've been able to see and read and watch from this team over the last week. And the conclusion that I've came to, as you may have been able to tell from today's video, is something that is very, very wrong with this football team. I know they've lost some important players from last season and the season before, etc., coming into this campaign, but they just didn't look like champions at all, and that's shown in their very, very disappointing league form, and that's shown in their very, very hit and miss European run, where they should have been beating teams a lot more comfortably than they were actually going ahead and beating them. So this is a game that I'm looking at from the Rangers perspective and saying, you know what, this is the perfect time to unleash a pissed off Rangers side who from last week should have been playing in the Champions League, etc, etc, all that frustration that they'll be feeling. Go ahead and unleash it, because it's the perfect chance to do that tomorrow and kill this tie off in the first freaking leg. And that right there actually gives me the perfect transition away from the oppositional preview and in to the Rangers side of today's video, which actually has a lot to break down and discuss. But first of all, from a game perspective, we know what's needed coming into this match versus Alashkert. It is a pissed off Rangers side. We know what we need to do, and we know what we need to get out of our freaking system, because let's just be honest, our European journey so far has been stinking. I mean, over the 180 minutes versus Malmo, we turned up for what? Maybe 40 of it. That's nowhere near good enough, and it wasn't to the standard that we came to expect from that Rangers side. But that was a massive opportunity that we let go. Now it's time to take all that and try to turn into a positive. And listen, I know that may be quite crazy to hear, and it's not quite sitting right because of the frustration that we still have from last week, but let's not put the Europa League group stages and the knockouts doing any filler. Yes, right now when you look at it, the fall from grace in terms of the opposition that we now in playing is there to be seen. The rankings, etc., everything you want is there to be seen. But this is just one round. If we turn up, do our job and progress in the Europa League group stages, we know with the likes of the teams that we could play at, and we know that we've loved and enjoyed those journeys so far. So I'm looking forward to this, ladies and gentlemen. I want to see a Rangers side using this game as well to get back to what they're doing, rampant, ruthless, get at it, score goals, get the feeling about in your way into the group stage, and show everyone why we are a last 16 team in that competition, and build for there. Because not only is it European football for some of our very, very talented players who could potentially move on, but it's also European money that is needed to keep these guys here for another season, etc. So this game is massive tomorrow, no matter how much people try to play doing it. We need to kill this tie off tomorrow. That way next week, going into the game 3 days, 4 days before we play Celtic, we can maybe rotate and rest certain people to keep them fresh for what will be a massive Old Firm match. Again, everything around this game is huge, and the impact it can have on our football club and our season is there to be seen. But speaking of the old team, let's transition and give you the latest team news and kind of speak overall about the team, because I think myself and a lot of people now on the channel are very excited about the prospect of possibly seeing Bassey unleashed down that left hand side, because the 2 games that we've actually had a left hand side, and the only 2 games we've actually won this season, by the way, is when Big Bassey has actually played. So fingers crossed he's in there. There was a lot of questions in the presser about Bassey, but as usual, Steven Gerrard doesn't give anything away apart from he said he's very happy with what he's doing off the field, on the training. So fingers crossed we see Bassey be unleashed down that left hand side. But someone we won't see, unfortunately, are of course the 2 suspended players, Kamaru and Glenn Saucy Kamara. Another player that's been officially ruled out by Steven Gerrard is our boy Katic, who I mean, you might have noticed for the intro, I was quite annoyed and everything like that, because you see all these paper people, right, and all these idiots and all these bitter, hate-filled folk that suit there, they just write crap. They genuinely just write crap. And a lot of people that come out and say, didn't buy, didn't share, didn't do that, they preach that, but then they're sitting talking about it online, and they're diverting people into the links and giving the people the money, and they're getting everything they want. What we need to start doing, people, is looking whenever we see things like that and just not talking about it, because we know it's crap. How does these papers know that Katic is getting sold tomorrow, or imminently getting sold on anything like that? They're not allowed in the building, they didn't speak to anybody, and they've got no contacts in the club. It's guesswork. So we need to stop giving all that any type of fire at all. It's just BS smoke. So leave that in the rear view. What was actually getting done by Katic is something we've spoken about several times on the channel. A loan move is coming, and that was pretty much backed up in the presser by Steven Gerrard as well for the short term, just to get him the minutes and the legs and the consistent game time he needs after having 12 months out with such a serious injury. And the only other player expected to miss the game from the Rangers side is of course Ryan Jack, but that's pretty much it now. After this game right here, we should have the Jack back. Speaking of a very talented football player coming back in to the setup and coming in to the team, ladies and gentlemen, we of course got a bit of nugget of information we've all been hoping and we've all been praying for, and that is another body, a signing coming in to the football club, as Gerrard during his press conference confirmed they are very close to bringing in a midfielder, and he went ahead and told you what type of midfielder he's bringing in. It's not a hybrid or anything like that. It is a guy for the engine room in the centre of the park, and that's exactly where we need to strengthen, and that allows other people being able to be played and where they're actually better being played, like Lundstram. That'll free him up so he doesn't need to be the engine, because that's not him going about in the defence and tracking people, as we've already freaking seen. Where he's better is being able to go forward and that licence to go forward. So bringing in someone else, getting in someone that can actually play in the middle of the park to free up others is exactly what this team needs. And as Gerrard said, you'd be expecting that news in the next couple of days. So I'll see you for the player profile either tomorrow or Friday. But with that exciting news of a potential signing, that is it, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It's a wee bit shorter than normal, but that has been the oppositional preview. That has been the Rangers conversation. That has been the latest Rangers team news. Now it's time for us to get involved down there in the comment section below, and it's time for the players to go out there and do the job we know they are capable of. So before we wrap up today's video, what are you thinking about the upcoming game? Who do you think the next player in the football club is going to be? Who do you want it to be? Let me know in the comment section below. It'll be interesting to see where your heads are at. But I'm going to go with a simple prediction in this game, and I'm going to go very, very high. I was 1 goal off the Dunfermline one, which I was very upset about, but I think I'm going to go with Rangers 4. Alashkert 0. It's time to keep that momentum up, ladies and gentlemen, and we couldn't ask for a better game coming off Friday's game to this one, just to get that winning feeling back, because it doesn't matter who it's against or what level it's against. Winning is contagious. Let's keep this ball rolling. But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that's us officially done and dusted with today's video. If you got involved in the old comment section below, I will be speaking to you very, very shortly. But until tomorrow after the game, I've been TJ over 92. That has always been a sleepy Rocky Boy Johnson. Take care of yourselves, all the best, and bye.